Bakugan Battle Planet. I was a little skeptical of the Bakugan reboot, but I saw that it was not bad. Battle Planet was not bad at all, like I was originally thought. It had a well-balanced story. It had well-balanced characters. Even the whole thing with Kuzo and Kuzo and a lot of similarities toward Battle Brawlers and Battle Planet. I still enjoy Battle Planet a lot. It got me engaged. I enjoyed it so much. I even got invested with the action figures and the transformable marble. I was so impressed. Now, by the recording of this video, just a few minutes ago, I had just watched the finale. And I have to say, I am satisfied with that ending. I am satisfied with the resolution. Tico becoming the huge, big, dark monster that made the Bakugan retreat from their home dimension of Victoria to have them come to Earth and meet Dan and his friend via the Great Collision of Victoria fusing with Earth. Again, I was blown away from the huge build-up of the story. And yet, even though there was a few moments such as Bakugan being used as business things, which had some moments where it felt like there was elements of like AA enemies being like the Vexos from New Victoria. Capturing the Bakugan, using them for business purposes, using them for experiments and all that kind of stuff. There was that. And there was like huge clashes of who was the true villain in all of it. At the first, there was Philomena Dusk, the head leader president of AA Animus. You had Benton Dusk of Dusk Industries that really was a good guy, despite everybody's confusion of why he would be portrayed as a bad guy. Until you would have had seen the finale. And know why Philomena and Benton had their Bakugan, Apollyon and Hydronoid. And I also like the fact that I also like the fact that for the evolution process, they didn't just go with the Battle Brawler way of thinking and have the evolution, have the Bakugan be evolved and stay evolved. Otherwise, it would not have been fair for the other, opponents who would. I mean, if the Bakugan stay evolved, then it would not be fair for any kind of new challenger to approach the other one with how, uniquely powerful Drago might be, Trot might be, Patriot might be, Hydra might be, Howlhor might be. In the way they do that, they took a page out of Digimon page, which is using a MacGuffin with a like the Baku Horde. Using the Baku Horde to make the Bakugan evolve into their next evolved state. But the thing is, why didn't the other Bakugan, like Trot, Patriot, Hydra, Howlhor, have Titan form like Drago did? But I guess you cannot have much of everything. But it is like Battle Brawlers, like Magic Raid with maintenance. Because maintenance had Nelius. First, Hyper Nelius, then Drago had to bend himself and be Hyper Drago. Then Nelius had to go to Titan Nelius. And then that pushed Drago to be Titan Drago. And now with Tito's threat, Drago had to push himself and be gifted the newfound power to be going all the way to Maximus. And that's kind of amazing. Plus the fact that Trino had to use the last of its strength to give Drago this power is also kind of reminiscent of Digimon Tamers with Gallantmon's trusted partner giving the last of its strength and turning Gallantmon into Crimson mode. Or rather, every time Dragonoid from Battle Brawlers has been given the gift to evolve into the next step, I understand. But Battle Planet works it so much more well. I mean, I also enjoyed the battles. And this whole season was phenomenal. I enjoyed Battle Planet probably more than I should have, liking the whole Battle Brawler series. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still have an attachment to the original Bakugan with Naya and Darak and Helios Spectra and Mira and Dankuso and New Victoria and, Octavius Destroyer, I still hold on to the attachment of the original Battle Brawler series, and I still enjoy it. Even Bot Attack, to learn new ways of rolling out your Bakugan, Japan style. But Battle Planet had a nice flow of story, unique characters, unique moments, and so much to give. I am impressed. Like, that's not easy to say with a series as ran as this. I am so much impressed by how much Battle Planet showed. It was really awesome. As a little special to be coming in Saturdays and then Sundays. But I enjoyed it a lot. And that is not easy to impress me. But I love Bakugan, and I was instantly hooked the moment that I became interested in Bakugan. Was I being too loud? Anyway, I still love Bakugan, and I was hooked. I looked in the first couple of episodes, episode 1 and 2, not episode 1 and 2 of Origins of the Species, but I meant actually 1 and 2, Origins of the Species, Part 1 and 2, Burger Run, and Monkey See and Monkey Don't. And I was kind of impressed with the way that it built up its world, so simple that it didn't have to count on, Battle Brawlers did. Battle Brawlers had its own universe worked out within its own intro. With saying, the Bakugan already came to Earth and it became this own amazing game. Battle Brawler was set up from the get-go, and its story just built up from there with a whole bunch of stakes, because Naga wanted to get the Silent Core. But that was what made Battle Brawlers intense. But what made Battle Planet a little bit more awesome is the fact that Battle Planet set up its world in slowly. It took the time to make its own story of the Bakugan coming to Earth by the planet Victoria, fusing with Earth via the Great Collision. And even though that the main Bakugan got to be chosen with their respective brawlers, it didn't explain it from episode to episode. You have to get all of the necessary partners. You gotta team up with 10 episodes to team up to band together, because the other ones were already teamed up, had their Bakugan, and have some world building fun before the actual threat, actually became a threat. Started with AA Animus, and then having Chico messing up everything, and then Benton getting involved. It was just, amazing. That's what I liked about Battle Planet. It had a slow-moving story, and it started out with, getting to know your Bakugan and building up the team is having it already be there in the get-go. And like I said, with the evolution, they also started out slow and made the Bakugan revert to their basic form so they don't be overpowered by new opponents. Otherwise, it would turned out like Battle Brawlers and Alien Invaders. You have to watch how to not use too much of your power. Power needing to save the power because you need to keep it for what's right, and need to watch yourself not to completely obliterate your opponent. Stuff like that. And it does create moments of fleshing out more character. It fleshes out, ways. The thing about the Battle Horde is it actually makes sense. If you cannot find enough power, then that is the sense of urgency where you just have to strap on the gauntlet and use an ability and all that stuff, and already have the power of the evolved form with you at all times. But in Battle Planet case, they didn't have to rely on Battle Brawlers rules, and it took the page out of Digimon book and kept the Bakugan in their basic form, which is the it thing. And I think that worked better than Battle Brawlers did. I think it really worked, and I am impressive. I even like Patriots. I even like Patriots. I mean, when I first saw Patriots, I was like, did they borrow that from My Little Pony? Because Patriots has a horn, has wings, and is supposed to be a pony. And me and my friends who were talking about this with the reveal of Patriot and Behind the Ball was like, they're taking the page from My Little Pony and they're adding a Albert Horn like Bakugan into the mix. Which I thought it was kind of neat. They would have an extra female character in the line of Bakugan, not just Tigrera or Gyrus. But with a Bakugan like Patriot, I think it kind of worked. Now with a Bakugan like Trot, in its name, Trot is already a T-Rex, which I thought was kind of interesting, because because Bakugan did not have too much. I mean, it did not have availability enough in the old series to have Dinosaur Bakugan. And I like Trot as a character who was playful, a little bit wise, and just a goofball and a troll of sorts. Even the behind the brawl or small brawl stories, his humor shines through, and I love the character. Yeah, I am funny. I love his voice too. Like, it worked. Like, even the voice casting, they got Jason DeLine as Dragonoid, as it is Battle Brawlers. They got the reprise of the role of Jason DeLine as Dragonoid. Not only Jason, but they got like Ron Pardo and Rob Tinkler. Ron Pardo, who is known to play in Naya, and Rob Tinkler, who is known as being Helios, and also Julie Lemieux, who played Bruno as Phaedrus. Sorry, great. Sorry, Titan. Yeah, Phaedrus. Like, I hadn't known that it was Bruno's voice until the recent small brawl story with the Backyard Game that this was indeed voiced by Bruno, who ended up joining Lightning, who is also a female Bakugan, and I like that. Her form is like a long Eastern dragon, or Western, whatever, has a long body. And I thought that was kind of cute. Really, it was kind of cute. Now, with a Bakugan like Pyravian, now I like the thing with the Golden Bakugan like Tico, Pyravian, Doreen, and Trino, that they were tasked with being the guardians of the core cell. That's kind of neat. They are like the guardians of the core, guardians of the ecosystem. In the way that they made Pyravian made me think of Storm Gyrus, revamped. Cause I know there was like a whole lot of people that praised Gyrus, like Sephiroth Phoenix, as like one of the many like bravest Bakugan, and being such a nice character, they brought back the Phoenix Bakugan in Battle Planet. Now, that being said about the Orlis faction, now, like many other Bakugan fans, there was a whole lot of controversy regarding the Subterra and Orlis thing, because Subterra wasn't like it wasn't picking up sails as much as pirates was, as much as darkness was, as much as hail was, vented, aquas, and the like. So they got rid of Subterra and made this mysterious golden faction named Aurelius, or Aurelius, depending on what you look at it. And it is kind of interesting. Aurelius being the most powerful faction of them all. And that can be said because Pyravian is at 500B power. Pentatrix is at 500B power. And many more of the Aurelius faction Bakugan can be at high level G power and hardly have like the ability card until Age of Aurelius came in. And I thought that was kind of interesting. But I didn't mind too much of the Subterra thing because, well, to be honest, I wanted to build up my Subterra collection once I was done with the whole Draco line. And I kept getting more and more of the other attributes other than Subterra, and I kind of felt bad because Subterra was seeing itself as that niche attribute, and I think I realized that was why they got rid of it in exchange for Aurelius, as well as making Ventus not only win, but nature itself, which is also interesting. And now the characters Dan, Winton, Leah, Shun, and Lightning, the brawlers, the awesome ones, were kind of awesome. Maintenance was your typical kind of masquerade kind of guy, but he also had his own story. And the thing with him trying to fight to protect his sister from poverty, like, we get to see that a little bit, like, around in part 1, and a little bit almost towards the end of part 1 of season 1, before they went to the whole around the world in the Horcel thing. Dan Huzo is your typical Dan. He's the main star of the show, but I did not mind this version of Dan. Like, he had moments, but he did not go way too over the top that he did not become that unlikable. I mean, he is just a kid. And that's what they are. They are just kids. And you cannot fault them for making mistakes. Even though we're supposed to be like, well, they're the main brawlers and they should know what's right, but they are still just kids. Like, you cannot fault them for making mistakes. Even at the time when they were, like, not being able to forgive Benton for being fair here. Benton did not tell them right away that he was doing that stuff just to test their brawler ability. And they made the mistake not being able to forgive Benton and went with Philomena instead, which got them their Bakugan stolen from them by AA Animus. That was their mistake, but in the end they were able to join back with Benton and got their Bakugan back. And the Mind Core Cell. And there was also other opponents like the Exit Team and Strada the Hunter and Colonel Tripp, who also all had their own agenda for dealing with the Awesome Ones. Oh, and not to mention the Kasami family, like Kojiro Kasami, Shun's dad, and also Masato. Now, Masato was one of the more complex antagonists. Not really a villain, but an antagonist nonetheless. When it came to the whole island thing in part 2, where they were going to the island to try to search for the core cell for the Bakugan extractor, the core cell extractor, that's where we saw Masato come to terms with his own tempted fate of him not wanting to be a race like his own father was, and just wanted to get praise from Shun's dad. That's all he wanted. But when Shun and the Brawlers foiled his big master plan for the core cell extractor, then he had to escape to the maze, and he had to come to terms with his loss, and the loss that he had his big invention destroyed. And he had to come to terms with the losses that he had to bear. But in the end, when he ate in the maze, he found a better friend in his Bakugan Serpentine, who we've seen in the Small Brawl story was just there for annoyance, who actually had a voice. But when Masato was truly finished and he had nothing else to turn to, Serpentine did the honorable thing and made a better friend in Masato. And through their journey in the maze, that is when Masato had what is known to be called a face heel turn, going from his greed and pride in seeing what's right for the better of Bakugan and Victoria. And that is also satisfying for a character who like that, who was generally unlikable, to make a fake heel turn like that and become one of the allies. That is also enjoyable. And just like Tico when he had this big monster form and was defeated by Maximus and all the powers of the Batman and the Brawlers coming together by the big gigantic world dome, the drone, Tito was finally rid of the V virus, and like Trino had to go and eat sleep. But now we know that Tito isn't truly gone like Nobilius or Nobelion, not Nobilius, Nobelion, or in this case, like Raisinoid or Metavius Destroyer, or all the big bad that had to come in between Dan and Drago in the universe, and saying like that. But he was cured of the V virus because he wanted to make that to make the council of the Bakugan see to it that they didn't want, that Tito didn't want the fighting to happen a whole lot. What in that time? He didn't want the fight to go on any longer. Anyway, I should wrap it up because it's almost the time for the thing to be up. Anyway, I enjoyed Battle Planet, and I would watch it again because I enjoy Bakugan. I will be getting so ready. I will be getting so much ready for Season 2 Armor Alliance to come out in the near future. I will be looking forward to that, and I will try my best to see if I can get any of the new Bakugan and Bakugear and everything else to prepare for this new season. This has been Christopher, and I hope you all have a good Thanksgiving. And I'll see you all later, Battle Brawlers. Take care. Bakugan Brawl.